Hey, welcome to Paint Minis Live. I'm your host, Bill T. It's good to see everybody in here. We got 2 live chat lounge cats in the chat. Hello. Welcome to Paint Minis Live. All right, tonight we're going to be painting us up some wolves. I've also primed up some more creepy crawlies, but I thought I'd make sure to kind of leave some space in between creepy crawly paint ups, just to cleanse the palette, if you will, to something a little bit different for us tonight. So I am gonna get our camera rolling here in just a moment. But yeah, I think tonight we're gonna do up some wolves, and it's gonna be fun. I think I'm probably gonna do them. I've been looking at some reference art. We'll go through some of that here in just a moment. But I've been taking a look at some pictures of wolves and whatnot to get some ideas. Some brown, some gray, some black, a little bit of white in there. It looks like, kind of your standard wolfy color scheme. But we have some really excellent sculpts to work with tonight, and I think that's going to be just great. So I'm going to pull up the reference images I was looking at because it looks like they have somewhat disappeared on me. And I'll just kind of show you what I'm looking at prior to us picking up a paintbrush. I think it's a good idea to always have an idea going forward as we start. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. I'll hide the chat overlay for just a moment. Well, let's do it like that. That looks cool. Okay. So essentially what we have here is a bunch of pictures of wolves. And I'm just kind of getting an idea of the color scheme that they have. Looks like some blue-gray going on, a decent amount of white, some brown, some black. A lot of it is kind of feathered in because they have a lot of fur going on. And that can be a little bit difficult to recreate at scale. But I think it is somewhat doable, especially if you take a look at a picture like this one right here. This picture would be a pretty good reference image to use because it's a side profile view. We can think of it almost as symmetrical, and we can kind of follow. There's some pretty defined shapes on here that we can follow for color patterns. Very white towards the legs. It looks like a little bit of brown in the bottom midsection. Gray and black along the top, and then gray towards the top of the head with white kind of in this offset U shape, and a black little nose to boop, because don't boop a real wolf, but if you were to want to go and boop, that would be the place to boop. Anywho, that is going to be our reference image that I'm going to kind of follow, just so that you can keep that in your head. And I'm going to go ahead and get my camera rolling here. Stop sharing. Add an extra camera. Indeed. All right. And let's bring that in. There we go. Okay. All right. So you don't need to see my ugly mug. We can make this full screen here. Let's see. We got 3 live chat lounge cats in the studio. Thanks for being here. Make sure to have the chat up over here in case anybody has any questions. Feel free to shoot away. I'm more than happy to answer them. Some of this stuff can get a little bit technical. And I totally understand if you've got questions, or even if it sounds like it's something basic, go ahead and feel free to ask. So these are our sculpts tonight. We've got a nice kind of pose going on here. This is probably going to be our easiest paint up, since most of this wolf is all looking up. Things looking up or standing tall are pretty easy to paint, or easier to paint, I should say, in my mind. We will see how that turns out tonight. The other sculpt is a wolf looking low, and this is going to be a little bit tough, I think, to kind of get the same, I guess, kind of quality to match our reference image, just because there's so much white at the bottom, and we've kind of got to shoot the paint up in there somehow. So that'll be a fun, interesting little challenge for us to tackle. So I've got my airbrush ready to go. We got some pressure already. Tonight we're going to be using the Infinity, the Harder and Steenbeck Infinity, which kind of needs a clean at this point. I think I'm going to throw it in the ultrasonic here soon, but I do want to make a video about cleaning an airbrush, both ones that are a bit more high-end like this guy, and then I've got a cheaper model airbrush that works arguably just as well. But this guy is a $40 airbrush off of Spray Gunner. I'd like to make a little video about how I clean them, just my personal preferences on it. By no means is it would it be a super guide to cleaning airbrushes, but yeah, so we're going to be using this guy tonight, this Infinity Kiev edition. And we're going to use, I'm thinking, dark golden brown from my favorite Pro Acryl from Monument Hobbies. We're going to use that. We'll probably end up using maybe one or two of these other browns. I'm not sure, depending on how we're feeling. We'll probably end up using some of this olive flesh. It's got a little bit of a brown tone to it as well. So we're it is going to be kind of a monochromatic color scheme that we're following, basically meaning that it's all kind of in this brown color grouping, I should say. Brown is the primary color, and then we're doing different shades of brown, or different hues of brown, meaning, kind of monochromatic. We have neutral gray and neutral gray. I think, let's see, did I pull the other gray out? I haven't yet. We're going to use a lighter gray as well, because we kind of want to create a little bit of gradient going on with their fur and whatnot. So, let's see here. There we go. Bright neutral gray. This is probably going to match up with in between the two grays there. So we'll use those. How's it going, Wheeling Dragon? Good to see you. Good to see you. Hello. Actually, I'll just stick the chat overlay up there so that everybody can talk between the platforms. If anybody comes in from Twitch or Twitter, which Paint Minis Live is also on, if you're interested in watching from any of those platforms, if they're your platform of choice, you're welcome to watch there. Not sure what the differences are, but I stream there too, just to see if anybody else is kind of interested in the painting. I'm going to be using, let's see here, Vallejo Airbrush Flow Improver. Let me mirror my camera real quick. I'm gonna do that. There we go. That's better. So yeah, we're gonna be using some Airbrush Flow Improver for this, which is my favorite. We'll turn on the big noisy machine just so that I can breathe easy and I don't have to worry about it. Try and move the mic as far away from that as I can. We got some light on the situation as well, which is gonna help. You got a lot of rain going on? Hey, how's it going? D&D Disability is in the house. If you haven't checked out D&D Disability, please do go and check him out on YouTube. Has a lot of fun stuff about Dungeons and Dragons and so on and so forth. And a really funny short about a villainous talk show, which I absolutely have to work on at some point when I have time to myself for once. All right. So we're gonna start off our process, just a little bit of flow improver in the pot. 1, 2, 3, 4, probably about 5, 6, something like that. 6 drops of that. We're gonna go with our. You know what? We're probably gonna start with the lighter color. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this olive flesh on the paint shaker. I'll be right back because that thing is really noisy. Wheeling Dragon, are you expecting like rain or what? What kind of weather are you looking at with your radar there? Okay, yeah, that's well. Stay safe. You know, if you gotta, yeah, stay safe out there. Okay. I Yeah, definitely keep an eye on your radar then, and watch for hail. You know, make sure you're away from windows and such, because if there's possible tornadoes, there's probable hail. At least that's been my experience so far in life, and I'm quite young, so that experience is kind of lacking. But you know, take it as you will. I do have to get back to you too on that about your minis. I think maybe you sent me a message on over on the discords and things. Thayan, what's your newest video? Tell us about it. What's going on there? Um, I'm sorry I've not been keeping a close eye. I've been trying to bounce around as much as I can, but Sarah's been sick with what appears to be a stomach flu, and I've been trying to hold it all together. Uh, well, she's been recuperating from that, so it's been a little difficult to have the same amount of time I used to have while she's recovering. But tell us about it and what you think is cool about it. I'm gonna watch it at some point. Don't worry, it's coming. 1995 storm. 95 was the year I was born. What a coinky dink. Yeah, I hope she does too. Hey, what's going on, Lightmane? Good to see you. Good to see you. If you haven't seen Lightmane's book, or sorry, listened to Lightmane's book, you should, because it's great fun. I do enjoy it. I'm just going kind of gentle with the white for starters here. I want to leave a little bit of gray behind. It looks like it's more centered around the paws and such is where this kind of white is going to want to hang out at least from our reference art again. Let's check on the chat. Inland hurricane of 85. Here we go with the hind legs. I'm trying to keep up with what everybody's talking about, but the messages are coming in hot and heavy. And I do appreciate it. It's always good to hear how folks are doing. Lord Corion, how you doing? How you doing? Wrote a community post about character background chapters. All right, hold on. I got to catch up with the chat. Let's see here. What are we painting? We're painting some wolves. Just these are kind of, I guess, basing them off of, what kind of wolf is this? A gray wolf or a timber wolf, I suppose. That's what I'm kind of basing these off of. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right. Now I'm caught up with the chat. Mike Dymart has indeed come to join the pack. What's going on, Mike Dymart? How you doing? How you doing? Currently working our way around the bottom bits of our wolf here. Just a little bit at a time. Again, trying to just target the paws and such. Now here comes the fun part. We're gonna do, I'm tackling the hardest one first. We're gonna just carefully here. Open up around the snoot. Try and keep my trigger control as much as I can. It's just a very, very light touch on there, and I think that's looking just fine. All right, let's see how it looks like most of the center mass here. I'm going to expand out the white here on its midsection. Looks like most of that is pretty clearly defined in our reference image. Do that to both sides, kind of work in a circular fashion amongst these bits. Okay. Let's see, a little bit on the tail here. We'll just put some spots near this, like a spot of white near the center. We'll try and leave some of that with our next color pass we do. Hey, thanks. Appreciate it, Lightmane. So we have our white applied so far. We're going to go ahead and do the same to our other wolf. Again, starting off at the legs, just because we have two of them, it's kind of mini batch painting tonight. That's essentially what we're doing here. We'll work up the leg a bit. Just gradually work in the layers of paint. I'm going a little bit heavier on this wolf in particular with the white, just because I learned from the previous mini while I was painting it right then that the paint is taking on a bit more of the gray than I was kind of expecting. It's a-okay. So we're just going to make it a bit more opaque. I really enjoy Monument's Pro Acryl line because the paint is just able to flow out of the airbrush quite nice. Covers the model pretty quickly. And it's a very nice universal tool. You can use it for many different arts and crafts beyond the modeling hobby. You can make fine art with it if you'd like, or abstract art even. Or it doubles as a glorified paint dryer in a pinch. You need something to kind of dry very quickly. A little bit of overspray on the tail. Leave some over there. Put a little bit of white in the midsection as well. Let's see what's going on in the chat. What air compressor do I use? I use a, I've got to look now. I use a Posh D3000R, but that was because my previous compressor kind of crapped out on me, and I needed a quick replacement. The only shop that had anything airbrush was far away, and this was all they had in stock. Otherwise, to beginners, I really suggest the 2D by No Name is the brand, and you can find that on spraygunner.com. They're kind of my go-to source for a lot of airbrush parts and pieces and so on and so forth. I highly recommend them. I've spoken to them over the phone before, and they know their stuff. So again, I highly recommend Spray Gunner, and it's a very affordable compressor compared to others on the market, while still giving you really great quality and bang for your buck. It's good value for your hard-earned hobby dollar. Again, I'm just kind of layering up here to the hue that I like before we move on. So I'm just going to connect those two bits right there. Since you can kind of see the underside, we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to leave a little bit less paint towards the actual bottom so that gray shines through and we get some nice, well, not really shines, it'd be a shadow at that point. But we'd have a little bit of shadow going on underneath our model. Very nice. Airbrushing is beyond me, but I respect it. Hey, it's the medium that I enjoy, or the tool that I enjoy working with personally, but it's not for everybody. And you can do everything that I do with a standard brush. The airbrush just helps me do it a little bit faster, and it allows me to pull off a couple of tricks that normal brushes it would take just longer to do. So it's mainly just a speed thing. And you can see it looks like after this is dried, it's a little bit duller than I'd hope. So we're going to go ahead and give this guy a quick second pass. Very nice. And now that this guy is kind of tack dry, I think the little bit of a thicker coat worked out quite in our favor. Next, we're going to go ahead and I hear you there, Thayan. I've kind of been thinking about starting something up. I realized that I actually don't have my my quick change cup, so I'm gonna go grab a quick paper cup and do a color change. All right, so for me, to do a quick color change on the airbrush, I just run a paper cup. That's it. This is like a 16-ounce disposable paper cup. And then I've got my little tattoo artist's squeezy bottle full of water. And we're just going to go ahead and rinse out our color cup real quick and get the previous color out of there. Looks like the white's being a little bit stubborn, so I'm just going to take a brush and kind of agitate that out of the color cup. And we're going to dump it straight into this paper cup right from the airbrush to get our paint out of there. Takes a couple of squeezes. It's a very small color cup, so kind of got to do it a couple of times. But this is kind of a detail-oriented airbrush, so you really don't need much paint. Hence the smaller color cup than something like this guy, which has an absolutely massive color cup. This reminds me of like milk, more like almond milk or something, because it's got that like vanilla almond milk with that somewhat brown color to it. It's quite a nice color to use. And it looks like our airbrush is free and clear. Once it sprays clear coming out of the out of that process, there's no excess color left behind. That's how quickly you can change the colors in an airbrush. You don't have to take the whole thing apart and clean it. Just a little bit will do. All right, next major kind of color group is going to be some maybe some of this dark golden brown. I'm just going to quickly take a look through my tub of colors here and just make sure there isn't another color that would be a bit more well suited to our project here. think. Sometimes I change things right on the fly, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. I think that's about as close a color as I'm going to get right from the get-go. Toss that gray out there too. All right. Khaki's a bit green. Golden brown's a bit orange, but we'll see if we can maybe add a little white to it or something. See what kind of color combo we can make. Just for example's sake, I'll put a palette up here. We can see what it does. So here's our golden brown color. See if we can get a drop of that out. Oop. A bit more than I was looking for, but that's all right. So this is kind of the color we're working with. It's pretty close to the color I'm looking for, actually. What does this dark golden brown look like? Yeah, it's quite a bit darker than I was expecting. Okay, we're gonna go with this this golden brown from Pro Acryl. If milk looks like that, I don't want it. I'm not sure what would be happening with the message thing. I know I do have a list of words that will automatically be filtered out of the stream, but I don't think that's anything. I don't think you'd be saying anything that would be on that list, if you know what I mean. But it might have tripped. Who knows? It's got quite an extensive list. It's a couple thousand words, I believe, that I've put into YouTube. But they're in various combinations and whatnot. We have 7 live chat lounge cats in the studio. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Hope you have a good time. All right. We've got a couple drops of flow improver, and we've got maybe about 3 drops of paint in the color cup. That's really all you need. That's kind of another advantage of the airbrush, is the ability to use quite a bit less paint for quite a bit more coverage, since it gets atomized. So that's one benefit of it. Although I would say a standard brush does give you a bit more control. Once you get good at this, though, it can get pretty quick. Let's see our color there on my glove. All right, let's zoom in a little bit more. And we'll start working again. This is just a cheap transition is all we're looking for. Just a real cheap transition. I'm going to try and follow the white along this line here. Oh, not too much. I don't want to overdo it too much. Very nice. And go up here. Again, I'm trying to just be very careful with the trigger. We're looking for just a little bit of cross between this golden brown and the white and the gray we've got for our primer. So this looks maybe a little bit more yellow, but you know. Yeah, how's it going there, Dungeon Minister? Good to see you. We're doing wolves tonight, and we're making some cheap transitions here. In our colors. Okay. We're gonna do up just a little bit of the hairs too. Very light, kind of subtle. I'm just gonna want the idea of that color coming through. People's eyes will just naturally fill that in. If you make mistakes, just, you know, people's eyes will fill in details that you think you might have missed. Trust me. Don't worry about it too much. We're going for ideas and looks. That's all it is. Trying to trick the eye a little bit because we can't necessarily paint. You know, if you're trying to get something ready for the tabletop, we're not looking to necessarily we're not looking to win any awards here. If you are, you're going to be spending quite a bit more time on your model, which is fine. You know, if you're going to go competition and do that stuff, yeah, like take the time you need to go over that stuff. But for me, I think I am fine with just my own level of tabletop standard. We're gonna boot the snoot, and I think that's good right there. Next, we're gonna you can see how I've kind of followed the line of where our white ended towards the gray, and we're gonna start adding in. We're gonna add in our warm gray. I think that's, yeah. We're gonna add in some warm gray over the top of this. So I'm going to get the paint shaker going once I change my color here. And I'll be right back with you. I'm just going to mute real quick. Hey, how's it going, Miss Bella Games? Hey, hey. What's going on, Mythos? Good to see you. Let's bop some tunes, huh? I gotta send you a message there, Mythos, about Friday night. See how to join you. Hey, thanks. Right, right. Okay. Doing some Space Wolves. Listening as you explore Umbar in the Lord of the Rings online. Yeah, Lord of the Rings online. There we go. All right. Okay. Now we've got ourselves the remnants of a butterscotch milkshake in our disposed cup, and we'll add some gray to it. It's going to be a very subtle color transition with this warm gray because we're basically already at like a dark gray. It's like a couple shades darker. This is going to be a very similar color we're going to put on it, but this is going to tighten up our transition that we have on our model just a little bit. And then we'll dump it and we'll use some like very high, we'll probably go back to that white a little bit, maybe even. Okay, here we go. Get you guys back in here. A couple of Thunderwolves for your narrative list. Fun, fun. Again, this is going to be a very subtle color transition here with this gray. This is just going to tighten up where that transition is so it looks much more like these kind of it's very much so kind of lines of fur that these guys got. We'll also kind of be adding in some highlights here on this stage because it is a little bit of a brighter color. Very nice. All right, we'll do the same thing with the other guy real quick. Now that I kind of have a hang of what my mind's eye is seeing and where the paint is going. This one should be a little bit quicker. Again, just kind of tightening up these color transitions and blending it in with the previous color. Trying to make this look as much of a natural fade as possible. Just forgot to add the white on this one near the snoot. So we're going to go ahead and do that real quick. What's going on, Road March? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. We got 8 live chat lounge cats tonight. Thanks for coming, everybody. I'm going to run just a little bit of thinner through the airbrush. Find sometimes if it's giving you a little grief, run some thinner through it. It'll unclog pretty good. All right. So now we're going to go on to bright neutral gray for some even further highlighty goodness. Actually, what was that? Olive flesh. We'll give that snoot a quick blast real quick. And then we'll run over to our bright neutral gray to kind of get these guys closer to their finished state. Nice, very nice. I'm telling you, reference images are great to have for doing something like this. I think that's looking quite nice. All right. Off to our next color of gray, and then we'll do some black. Road March has got to let the dogs out. You want to let these ones out too while you're at it there, Road March? These two doggies? Man, I remember those days when "Who Let the Dogs Out" was like a big thing, man. That was the song. Who let the dogs out? Yeah. Yeah, I'm one of those kids. Remember those days. All right. Now we're on to our bright neutral gray. This is going to be quite vivid as compared to our previous color gray. That one was just to kind of clean things up a little bit. This one is going to be to essentially be our main highlight, so to speak. Last one. We're only going to need a drop or two of this, and it's like maybe a drop and a half I put in the airbrush. Very nice. So now this is going to be the tricky part, trying to find the bits that are gray but not quite black either. Just kind of focus in on the top of its head. think that's looking just fine. Do a little bit more on the top of his head there. And then we're going to come in here in just a couple of minutes and do... This is going to be fun. This guy. Not quite trying to capture all of the gray here with these highlights, just enough of it. Again, to give somebody the idea. Very nice. So now we have kind of multiple different color transitions that are happening all at the same time, giving our model a really cool look. And next is the scary part. We're going to move on to basically just jet black, because there is some amount of black going on here. Hey, what's going on, Scrub Sapien? Good to see you. I was looking on Hero Forge to do a Rottweiler, but I couldn't find a way to do it. Huh. Well, if you find a Rottweiler model, maybe I can give you some ideas. You know, you might be able to find one with like a dollhouse scale one, or heck, even maybe something from like a cities type of deal in like what is it, 72nd scale would be the scale model equivalent. You might be able to find something from like model railroading, because that community does, like, you know, they have a lot of things like that would probably fit what you're looking for with a dog like that. All right. So now that we've got our proper highlights on, indeed, we're going to go, I'm going to put this on the paint shaker here, but we're going to go with coal black. All right, friends, here we are. This is a step that, you know, every once in a while as a painter, you take a hard look at yourself and you go, Either this is going to work out really well, or I'm going to be redoing a couple of colors. And for me, that time is right about now. Because putting straight black on is... it's hard to cover up with lighter colors, so you kind of got to start over. So I'm going to put a couple of drops of black in the color cup here, and everybody wish me luck, because I think this turned out, the paint scheme as it is right now is probably good enough to send to your tabletop and have a good old time with. This is where the rubber is going to meet the road, is if I can kind of work this black in just ever so subtly. Okay, all right. We're going to be very, very careful. All right. So it looks like the majority of the black kind of rides around like the haunches of the legs, and mainly like kind of along the spine. I'm gonna actually dial my airbrush in. There's a little knob at the back of this thing that you can turn, and it'll only allow you to bring out so much paint, so I don't accidentally blast it too hard with the color that I'm working with. So I'm gonna go ahead and set that up just to make sure I don't. All right. Right, a little bit there. Okay. All right. We're doing it. I think we're kind of gotten somewhere with that. I'm gonna just kind of subtly feather in just a little bit more. Kind of darkening it back down just ever so subtly. In some areas here. think our wolf is looking pretty on point here. All right. Now we're going to do the same with this guy. This is kind of mainly looking like it's mostly down the spine. All right, and then back to kind of some of the face area here. Some selective spot hitting here. And I think our wolf is looking quite nice right there, howling at the moon. I think all that's left is just a couple of brush details, and we're home free, friends. That's pretty decent. All right. I'm just going to move the camera back ever so slightly here. Come back out into the light a little bit. All right. So now I think all that's left here is I'm going to kind of leave it just airbrushed. I think that looks just fine to me. So we're going to go ahead and take... Their eyes are kind of yellow, is what I'm seeing here with like coyotes and wolves. So we're going to go ahead and just put a couple dots of yellow on there with our super detail brush, and we should be good to go. Barely a drop of paint on the palette, don't need much. Now, when kind of doing these tricky parts, I tend to choke hard up on the brush. I'm like really up on the metal bit here. Little eyeballs. Kind of. I think we're gonna just leave him alone. He's kind of squinting. I don't think they really like. I've never really seen a dog open its eyes while it's howling. I mean, does anybody else have some contradictory experiences with that than I have? I haven't seen a dog howl with its eyes open. They always kind of look up and their eyes shut or squint really hard. So I haven't seen that. So we'll just leave that guy kind of as is. This guy will have the kind of nice yellow eyes, and then we're gonna go ahead and do a little bit of coal black for around the mouth and the snoot. Can't forget about the snoot. You know, that's a good point there, Road March. I don't have any in the studio right now, but that is definitely a good tactic to use. Go back with our neutral gray here real quick, touch up a spot. I think it just needs a little helping hand here. I think I went a little bit too overboard underneath his chin. Same with the snoot here on this guy. And all of that was kind of out of shot, but you can see nice black suit. I think we're gonna leave his mouth as is after learning that lesson on the other guy. That's all right. Maybe it was warm gray. We'll try warm gray next. So we don't cover that any further. And if not, that's a-okay. I can live with it. It'll be fine. Barely anyone will notice it ever. Yeah, it'll be all right. Gonna go in with titanium white for the teeth, and then we will be done. So let me get my model kind of back into focus here so everybody can see it. Get out of here, dude. When they're barking. Yeah, indeed, that's kind of been my experience. All right, here we go. Here's our titanium white we're gonna use for the teeth. So white is notoriously thick paint. Make sure I add a dash of water to that. I'm gonna mix it literally right on my glove here. So I only need just a tiny little bit of it. I think that is our finished product right there. We'll get a nice, quick, fancy look at both of them. Give you a nice turnaround. But I think that's essentially our finished product for our wolves. We'll leave the kind of nice airbrushed, poofy look to it since they're covered in fur. It's a little bit darker. The camera's kind of picking up the black really black, but the transition is quite nice. I don't think it's quite picking it up like the naked eye does, because it looks a bit more feathered than what the camera's kind of picking up, but I think it does it justice. No. I think gonna have ourselves just a little bit of extra fun. This one was hungry, and because it's got this one in particular was hungry, and because it's got kind of this blemish underneath it, where I was trying to I'll share my screen here with the reference image. Here we are. So just checking this out, like right in that face area with all of them, they have the, dark teeth going on, or like dark gums, and I was trying to kind of pull that off, but it's just really small. So instead, he's gonna be hungry, is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do. That's how we're gonna do this. So I'm gonna go back to this camera. There we are. Yeah, he's just gonna be hungry, and we're gonna use blood for the blood god, and he's just gonna be he's gonna have found himself a squirrel. Have I seen the 2D Hero Forge minis? I have not. Are they good? That is my question. I have not seen any of those. And as any good Warhammer 40k player knows, or painter, I suppose, you don't really have to thin this very much, but I'm going to leave just a little bit on the brush. I'm not a huge fan of these Citadel pots because I don't like to stay open very much. Tell me about these Hero Forge too. Like, do you print them out? Is that kind of the idea there? We're just going to make this kind of over the top. This is a pretty fresh kill. There we go. Good enough. That way, when you throw this thing at your players in the dead of night in the middle of the woods, it looks like it is taking a chomp out of them. So there are our two wolves. Back this out a little bit. Oh, why so serious? Yeah, right. They're a little cheaper, but in the colors you want, as you made them online, so no printing involved, less prone to breakage. Okay, very interesting. Like the regular 28 millimeters for gaming. Yeah, I would kind of think the same. I'll have to look into that. That's actually pretty interesting. There's been a lot of innovation in the past couple of years with tabletop gaming and so on and so forth. It's been kind of mind-boggling to see just what's been going on in the tabletop space with mini technology. You know, printing the minis, pre-painted terrain, all kinds of crazy stuff out there to like. To do with modeling and the hobby, and I love it. But you know, there's 3D printers and just all kinds of new technology has come out, and I know that like it was pretty stagnant there for like a decade. There was like not a ton of new stuff coming out. You know, it was kind of just stagnating a little bit. We'll give these guys a nice run around on the carousel of progress. There we go. Just getting our camera set up here real quick. Very nice. Okay. And change the camera. There we go. Get the nice slow roll. Joker just ate that squirrel, indeed. Well, I had quite a bit of fun with this. Yeah, for sure. I was kind of thinking, you know, kind of looks intimidating, like, you know, just took a bite out of your player. Batman, Bite Man and Joker. I dig it. I dig it. But yeah, I had a lot of fun painting these guys up. I think all in all, for two fairly small minis, we managed to cram a lot of detail, a lot of interest into them. Next up will be putting some bases on, and I guess if there's any other finishing details I kind of want to do just personally, I might do that. But this is basically kind of where I'm going to call it with these wolves. And I think these two are going to make a great addition to the NPCs and creatures and critters we've already painted up. I just got word that Sparkle Slaughter is well on the way. Should be here soon, because I did end up buying a second Pegasus mini, or Demonic Pegasus, or Unicorn. That's what it is. Demonic Unicorn to go with Sparkle Slaughter. Or to go with Glitter Gore, our other My Little Ponies inspired demonic unicorn. So that'll be fun. We'll do a paint up for Sparkle Slaughter. The next one, just a heads up, is going to be another creepy crawly stream. So we have the wolves here tonight, and then tomorrow. Let's see here. It is. Yeah, so tomorrow at 8:45, we'll have creepy crawlies where we will be doing nasty centipedes, monstery centipedes, and I have those. I have those guys primed up. So creepy crawly alert! I'm gonna show off the model real quick as a little preview. So these are what we're going to be painting up tomorrow night. We're going to do these guys up. I've got a couple ideas on kind of how to do their carapace and their legs and whatnot. Maybe even some dripping effects. I haven't tried that before, but we're going to try doing some drip effects with UHU glue and make that whatever that goop is coming out of his mouth look uber drooly. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Ew, but not scary. Yeah, it's this guy is going to have some green goo or whatever. It's going to be high fantasy. We're not going to make this thing look absolutely terrible and nightmarish, I suppose. Not terrible, but nightmarish. We're not going for the nightmare thing. We're going to go for maybe a bit more of a ew, but not scary. That is definitely the feeling that I'd like to impart with these guys tomorrow night, which will be a heck of a lot of fun. So with that being said, I think that is about all I've got for tonight. If you got any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. If you watched the replay, thank you for watching the replay. I hope you had a bunch of fun, and I hope you learned something or just got some good entertainment value out of the painting stream tonight. Again, like I said, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. You can also join the Paint Minis Live Discord channel, or Discord, I should say. And there's many different channels in there, as well as a model showcase for our community members, so that you can check out all the fun mini paint ups that they've done, as well as post your own. So that's also great. And what other little things? Be sure to check out our friends. I've been trying to make sure I put in the description all of the friends of PML. If I've missed any, I apologize, but they'll find their way in there eventually. So just go check out all those other fun YouTube channels, as well as our partner, Pace Spray Booths, which you can find online at Pace paste.com there. Let me just make sure I don't butcher it. pastepaintbooth.com. You can find them there. Bob Pace does a wonderful job with his airbrush booths, and hopefully we'll have one in studio here very soon for us to paint with in the future, which is going to be awesome. But thank you all for being here tonight. I'm Bill T with Paint Minis Live, and we'll see you tomorrow at 8:45 Central Time. If you want to do the click, click, ding, ding, and press all the happy buttons, you'll know what time it is in your local time zone. But stay happy, stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next one. All right. Bye, everybody.